Attitude check. Bronco Pride.
And welcome back to another edition of the Broncos on Blast Progress Report. I'm your host, Alex Podlegar, and we're coming to you from the campus of Fayetteville State University, where the Broncos have just wrapped up another football practice today, and we're joined by the head coach of Fayetteville State, Kenny Phillips. And Coach, today was the first day in full gear. You talked about it last week about guys with pads off and everything. You'd see something different once you got the pads on. Well, what'd you see different?
Well, you know, it's one of those things where we've had our shoulder pads on for 2 days. We went full pads today. So we had a couple of days of doing some drills that, you know, require a little bit of contact. And, you know, what's impressive is some of the younger players out here, they bring a lot of fight to the game. I think they've changed some attitudes out here in football practice with the way they're practicing and the aggressiveness that they have.
That has to be something that you were looking for coming into these kinds of practices where there is more contact and that sort of thing. So you got to be pretty pleased with that.
Yeah, we're very pleased with what we've seen so far, but we still got a long ways to go. And the biggest thing is trying to get conditioning and trying not to overhit because of numbers. But, you know, it's one of those things you got to get your football team prepared for the first football game. And, of course, you know, on Thursday we start classes, so we don't have a lot of time.
Talk about those areas of improvement that you have had since day one to now. It's, you know, you're getting close to a weekend a little bit now. You've gotten 4 or 5 practices under your belt. What are those areas that you're seeing already kind of rise up a little bit?
I'm very impressed with what the way our offensive line has progressed so far in camp. They seem to be understanding what Coach Gladden is trying to coach them to do in our offensive, our blocking scheme, and they're a lot more aggressive than we were a year ago off the football. And you know, it's going to make us better as a defensive football team with those guys being as aggressive as they are.
Just talked to Brandon Clough a little while ago after practice today. Your thoughts on what he brings to the program?
Well, I told you, back in the spring, watching him throw the football, and I think, if we can get him to focus where to throw the football, that he got a very impressive arm. He throws the ball very well. I mean, the ball come off his hand and come off his arm very well, and I think if we can get him settle down to where to put the football, where to throw the football, we're going to be fine, because sometimes those guys with those strong arms think they can throw it through a wall. We don't need it thrown through a wall. We need it thrown in the hands of our receivers and backs. So once he's progressing along pretty well, and I think these next couple of weeks is going to really help him.
Yeah, a strong arm. Maybe that's a good problem to deal with, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a very good problem to have, because you can always work on the touch stuff. But to be able to throw the deep ball in this league is very important, because it's going to give you a chance to run the football.
Looking ahead to the rest of the week of practice, what's on deck for the Broncos?
Well, we're going to come out again tomorrow. We get a chance to have 2-a-day practice tomorrow. We'll go in the morning and in the afternoon, and then we'll have one on Wednesday, and then we start classes on Thursday. So after that, we're in our seasonal routine where we come in and practice at 3 in the afternoon.
Sounds good, Coach. We appreciate you jumping in for a few minutes here after practice. Thank you so much. Again, you've been watching the Broncos on Blast Progress Report. I'm your host, Alex Podlegar. Check back for more updates on all things Broncos athletics at FSUBroncos.com.